Hey guys, welcome to the video. So this video is going to be like an introduction to what macronutrients are, how to track your macros, flexible dieting, if it's right for you. So keep watching. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. And the first key point that I have some notes written down here, is nutrition is key to any goals that you have. So let's say you have goals of putting on muscle mass. You need to be in a caloric surplus, so you need to be eating more than your maintenance calories to put on that size. And let's say you have goals of losing some body fat. Now you would have to be in a caloric deficit, which would mean you'd be under your maintenance calories and eating less food. If you decide to track macros, that's completely up to you, but I personally think that it's the best way to see progress. But if it causes you stress, then I would just throw it out the window and not worry about it, because anything that you're doing that deals with living a healthy lifestyle, like, yeah, it can be stressful sometimes, like, or it could just be like tedious sometimes, like, you know, knowing you have to do these certain things to be a little bit more healthier, but it shouldn't be so stressful to the point to where like it makes you feel anxious, or, you know, it makes you feel like really uncomfortable. Experiencing any of that, then I wouldn't recommend to track macros. Next point is, what are macronutrients? So you have proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Now these are all essential, hence macro in the word. Or the higher protein options would be like some sort of meat, or a protein supplement. So that's protein. Carbohydrates. Now I feel like these are so like, if you've been doing like fitness for a while, you've been living this lifestyle, you follow people on Instagram and stuff, you kind of got the deal, or you kind of understand that carbohydrates are not bad for you. They are the essential like macro pretty much, because that is our main energy source. So things like carbohydrates would be like some oatmeal. You have carbohydrates in pasta, and in things like rice and potatoes and quinoa and black beans. So you have so many options of carbohydrates. So there's that. Now let's talk about some healthy fats. Fats will not make you fat, and that is something that's like, may seem like a no-brainer to some of you, and to some of you are like, what? Like, I can eat fats and be okay? Yes, you can. So there's things like peanut butter that contain fats. This is like everybody's main source of fat, I feel like, unless you're not a peanut butter fan. It's my main source, to be honest. But there's things like, so in eggs, although they have protein, they also have fat in them because of the yolk. And then there is things like olive oil, coconut oil, almonds, cashews, pistachios. Those things have fat as well. And so those are just some basic examples. Head over to my nutritional guidance ebook that you guys have to check out like more examples. I listed them for you under the meal guidance page. I apologize if I keep yawning. I'm so tired. Let's talk about if it fits your macros and flexible dieting. So if it fits your macros is like, you know, you have this set number of calories, this set number of macronutrients. That's another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about. Calories and macronutrients. Your macronutrients are going to come from your calorie intake, but at the end of the day, if you reach all your macros and you don't reach your calorie intake for whatever reason, it's perfectly fine. So I just want to throw that out there. So like if it fits your macros, you always want to aim to eat nutrient dense foods. So for an example, like my go-to breakfast would be something like some whole eggs, spinach for some nutrients, maybe a slice of toast, maybe some turkey bacon, and like some plain oatmeal with some protein in it. That's one of my like staple breakfasts, or maybe like a slice of toast with avocado. But what I'm saying is, like, you want to aim to have nutrient dense foods. You don't want to go out to Krispy Kreme, get a donut, get a nice coffee with some cream and sugar in it. Like no, you don't want to do that, even if it does fit your macros. Now let's say you've had nutrient dense meals all throughout the day. At the end of the night, you're like, you know what, I want a slice of pizza, I want a cookie, I want this slice of cake, whatever it may be. And if it fits your macros, go ahead and fit it in. But if it doesn't, you want to enjoy something like that, you can. However, just keep in mind that moderation and balance is key. And I know this is preached very heavily through social media, and sometimes the like definition of balance can get kind of lost, but you don't want to be doing this every single night throughout the week, because then the only thing you're doing is hindering your progress, because nutrition is key. That's what I wanted to say about that. Flexible dieting, I feel like it's about the same thing, you know, like you just pick and choose like what you want to eat, but my personal recommendations, like is just to always choose nutrient dense foods. Now let's say you're somebody who's completely new to this lifestyle, you're completely new to eating healthy, you know, you weren't raised that way. I wasn't raised that way either. I came from a Hispanic family, so the food was real Mexican, like tacos for breakfast almost every day. Like, what are some delicious Mexican meals? I don't know, tostadas, fideo, like chorizo and egg for breakfast. Like, we went all out pretty much all the time. And when I was 16, I had to decide, like, I decided to start living this lifestyle, so I had to start cooking for myself, y'all. Like, it sucks sometimes, but it can be done. That's another thing. With nutrition, it can be done if you have the willpower and the dedication and the drive to focus on your goals and to focus on you and to focus on being healthier. Now, your nutrition is obviously going to help with your physique, but it should also, think about it helping you from the inside out, because you know, your heart and your intestines and everything that's in here does not want to be dealing with those really heavy fatty foods that you would get at like a fast food restaurant. So keep that in mind too. I know this video is like kind of all over the place, but honestly, like, I'm just touching on key things that I think are essential to know for you guys. So yeah, don't forget about your micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. Don't forget about like your veggies. I always make sure to have at least one meal with like tons of veggies in it. Unless I do like veggies within each meal, then I won't like do that at the end of the night. But you always want to aim to have vegetables. My go-tos are gonna be like listed on the screen right here for you guys. These are my staple veggies. I always have them in my fridge, and they go so well with literally like every single meal. Favorite way to eat them is to saute them in some olive oil, or you could even saute them in water if you like to cut out the fats from the olive oil. Okay, so how are you going to calculate your macros? I personally always recommend the Katie Hearn macro calculator. It's the same exact one as the If It Fits Your Macros calculator, but for whatever reason, their specific website, the If It Fits Your Macros website, decided to do this thing where you have to sign up, you have to put a password and all this stuff, and it's a lot. So go ahead and use Katie Hearn. I'm going to show you guys how to calculate your macros by me doing it myself. I'm about to fill this in as if I was doing it for myself. So the very first thing is to calculate your TDEE. So I'm a female, I'm 20 years old, I am 5 foot tall, and then I weigh about, right now I'm currently like 100 and, let's just say 110 pounds round up. So there's that. So then you're going to choose your exercise level. So most of us, unfortunately, are very sedentary throughout the day, and then there's some of us who are super, super active, and I personally would put myself in the exercise 3 to 4 times a week. Reason being is because although I work out like 5 times a week, I'm pretty much sedentary all day besides whenever I go to the gym, just because I do work from home. Now let's say you have a desk job, you might be the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate my TDEE, 1,190 calories, and then my TDEE is 1,500 calories. What you'll do is you'll choose your goal. My current goal is weight gain, so I'm going to do the moderate 5%. I always recommend this to everyone. Reason being is you don't want to throw your body off and go too intensive, you know what I mean? So you want to start off slow, and I would always choose a moderate. Now for the customize your nutrition plan, carbohydrates, that's always going to be the leftover of your macros. Typically recommended is to do 1 gram per pound of body weight for protein, and that's what it says right here, so I'm going to leave it at custom. Now let's say you don't like eating a lot of protein. One of the videos that I was watching that I'm going to recommend to you guys was mentioning you might want to do 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein. So you could choose either from 0.8 to the custom, which is 1.1 gram per pound. Moving on to fat, I would recommend to stay between these two right here, guys. I wouldn't recommend to do the 0.30, so I'm going to leave it at what it's recommended. And the carbs are just like what's remaining. My carbohydrates should be at 209 grams, 110 grams of protein, and 38 grams of fat. That honestly sounds about what I'm eating right now. Alright, so you guys saw like what my macronutrients would be if I was bulking at the 5%, like it all recommended. And let's say you are new to macro tracking, or you see that number and you're like, you know what, I can't eat 200 grams of carbs a day. What I personally would recommend for you guys to do is to track for a few days and just kind of see where you're at, like at the end of the day. And then you'll start going from there, like start increasing food in your breakfast meal, start increasing food during your lunch meal, start increasing your mealtime frequency. Now, I'm not saying you have to eat 6 meals a day for a specific reason, but what I mean is sometimes, like if people eat more meals a day, they're able to eat more calories without feeling too stuffed. So there's that option. And yeah, like I said, like if you can't hit 200 grams of carbs like it's recommending you right off the bat, it's okay. You know, nutrition is something you have to constantly work on. You would have to work on getting your body up to that speed of eating that much food. So yeah, don't be discouraged if you see a really high number, but like I said, always go for the moderation. So there's that. There, you know what to do now. If it's too high of a number and you're just like, I can't eat that, work on it. Take it slowly. You know, this is not a rush, it's a process. The last thing that I'm going to show you guys is kind of how to track a few different things. So with things that are like packaged, for example, we have some angel hair protein pasta. So good, by the way. You're gonna see that it says for a serving size, which is 2 ounces. That's uncooked, by the way. Serving size is 2 ounces. It has 2 grams of fat, 38 carbohydrates, and 10 grams of protein. So this one right here, it's currently set at fluid ounces. So I changed the unit, to pound ounces, and then once you put it down, just press tare if it's not already at 0. And then you're just gonna go ahead and just weigh it out. So that was literally 2 ounces perfectly. That's so weird. Let me show you guys if I can do this. So it was literally 2 ounces, or okay, 2.1. Sorry if this is really up close. But let's say that you're eating pasta with your family, you're cooking for about 4 people, and you don't have the time to measure it out. That is okay. Honestly, I would maybe try to measure out things like at least once or twice to see how they are uncooked compared to cooked, and go about it that way, and then you'll have like a rough estimate the next time you have to cook like in bulk. But it's not that big of a deal. I wouldn't stress over it if you can't weigh it out. Just try to, whenever you're done, maybe, I think that like 2 ounces uncooked is about 4 ounces cooked, I would think. You know, but like I said, don't stress over it. Next thing I'm going to show you guys is how to track it. So here, I haven't tracked anything today, but what I did for my FitnessPal is I went on to the actual website. So instead of it saying breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it says meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, all the way down to meal 5. You would press add food. And since this is a packaged meal, or this is a packaged food item, you would just go to the barcode scanner and you would literally just scan the barcode. It's that easy. It's going to pull up all of the macronutrients and it's right there for you. So it says serving size 2 ounce, number of servings, 2 grams of fat, 38 carbohydrates, and 10 grams of protein. This is probably the easiest thing to weigh and track out because a serving of oatmeal is half of a cup dry. So you would just go in there with a half a cup. Now, if you want to be technical, you could put a bowl on your scale and obviously tear it out and then just weigh out 40 grams because half of a cup is equivalent to 40 grams. It tells you right there. So there's that. Now, let's talk about strawberries. These are pretty old. Unfortunately, they were just in my fridge, pretty old. Now these, yeah, they have a barcode, so you could definitely scan them. But let's say yours doesn't come with a barcode, and let's say you're doing a banana or something like that. What you can do is you can turn on your scale, and you can set the unit to grams. And then let's say you just want, you'll have like 80 grams of strawberries. So what you'll do with MyFitnessPal is you'll go into the search area. You'll type in strawberries and you'll type in USDA, and this pulls up 100 grams. So you could easily switch it to 1 gram. And 79 would literally be so accurate. And then it tells you right there it has 0.2 grams of fat, 6 carbohydrates, and 0 grams of, or 0.6 grams of protein. Next one is kind of tricky. This one's peanut butter. This is my favorite peanut butter, by the way. So for peanut butter, for 2 tablespoons, it's 32 grams. It has 14 grams of fat, 11 carbohydrates, and 6 grams of protein. So, by the way, guys, I burned my hand with a curling iron. It hurt so bad. So what you'll do is you will put your protein, or you'll put your jar of peanut butter on the scale. You'll tear it out. I believe I said 32 grams. Yeah. So you will then, tear it out. Make sure it's teared out. It's saying this is 17 grams. To be honest, with me, I'm kind of sketchy about peanut butter. Like, I feel like I don't know what a true serving of peanut butter looks like because I'm not sure if this is the most accurate way. But yeah, so that'd be 17 grams. This would be 37 grams of the peanut butter. Now, if you want to be extra accurate, you could probably take some off and it'll bring you down to like the exact serving. And I know you guys can't really see the number, but it's so hard for me to get this camera to be in that correct position. So yeah, guys, those are just a few examples of how to measure things, how to put them into MyFitnessPal, how to track your macronutrients, what are macronutrients, and if it's right for you. So I really hope you decide to take this information, use it to your knowledge, and I'm also going to link some videos down below. You can manually track your macros and figure out your calorie intake. Unfortunately, those videos are a little confusing for me, but I know some people like don't really believe in the macro calculators online. I personally think that they're okay just for like a general idea, you know what I mean? I personally don't consider myself like an expert on tracking macros or, you know, all of that. So I'm just giving you like what I know, and you can decide to watch the videos. You can choose to watch the videos if you like and do that if you want, or you could just use a calculator. So it's up to you guys. Thank you so much for watching.